Coming to you live, baby. It's the Believe in the Southside boys. I'm Steve-O, also known as TM Steve by some. Joining me is my co-host, my normal co-host. That's Carrie. Say hi, Carrie, for everybody.
Hey, Steve, you seem super excited to say that.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
Happy to be with me. But what's going on? It's your boy, Carrie. Oh, you did change your name to TM Steve. I fucking love it. You
Absolutely.
can find me on Twitter at that baseball fan, probably annoying people, trolling people, and not eating shitty hamburgers at, in Lot B. So, but I'm pretty excited because we got one of my favorite follows on Twitter and the guy that sits right behind me at White Sox games. So that was a good time, especially because you were right behind me. So I'd like to
from what I heard, I hate to interrupt, he did more than just sit behind you.
That's what I was saying.
You just ruined my fucking joke there, buddy.
Oh, sorry.
But I want to introduce Brian. You can find him on Twitter at Magnificent Stan. Brian, what's going on?
What's going on, fellas? Having a good evening here.
That's great. That's great. You seem very enthused about that. I know.
Glad you're with
really
us.
Excited
Brian,
to be with us.
Honestly, if I have to deal with the schmuck that's next to me for the next,
you're pointing the wrong way.
Like, sorry, that way. No, it's still that way. That way. If I have to deal with him for like 24 more weeks without White Sox baseball, because I think that's what we've got, I'm going to be up a creek. I cannot wait for this baseball season to start, and I cannot wait for us to talk White Sox baseball. But I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad that Billy Wires is in the comments.
Billy. I love Billy. Hung out with Billy.
As I can tell, he told Carrie and I to fuck off. So,
well, I'm surprised.
He's very protective of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're a gem.
I need protection always.
Yeah, I mean, you truly are a hero. The fact that you had to sit so close to Carrie for however many games you went to this year.
40 games.
I don't know if you went to all 40. I know Carrie didn't go to all 40. So
I went to like 30, Steve.
I don't know if you went to 30, man. I was at like 33 or something like that.
Yeah, well, I wasn't at the 3 that you were at.
Oh man.
So talk to me about this, Carrie. Actually, I think Brian has a really important question to ask you about the upcoming season.
Did you renew your tickets?
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm waiting for the manager hire. Because once they say Azigian, I am done.
It's gonna be Gian.
No way. Not a
100. I'm at like, I was just talking to a buddy of mine. 80-20. It's gonna be Gian.
It's just the same old shit if it is, and I'll just find a ticket in the 108.
I was talking to Aloha Mr. Hand at the bar last night, and he literally he made a good point. He goes, "Do they ever hire the right guy? It's always they like to make money, and they're good with marketing." Azikian.
Yeah, he's perfect for both.
Mm-hmm. It's not like Joe Espada is gonna like tap dance or something when they hire him.
I mean, Joe Espada, per Boob Nightingale, our guy.
Merkin said it too.
And Eloy versus the wall. Okay, don't forget.
And Northbrook Bob. All these guys have said Bartolo's colostomy or whatever it was. Right?
Colostomy?
I don't know. I've been drinking.
Colonoscopy.
It's Sunday, and I have nothing else better to do than drink and
be on a podcast with us.
Wager stupid amounts of money on NFL football. So Espada out of the picture, and then as of reports now, Matt Quadrado is now out of the picture and is now the Kansas City Royals manager.
Well, no, according to Bob Nightingale, it was the only hire that was left, and it was the Rays. So he literally tweeted that like a half an hour ago. He goes, the last, last available hiring was Quattaro with the Rays. And then
he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's an idiot.
So that leaves the White Sox with 2 options at this point, right?
Yep. Azigian or Tony La Russa comes back.
Absolutely not.
No.
He would die in the dugout. He would absolutely die in the dugout. I would, if it was plus odds, Tony La Russa dies in a dugout if you return to a managing position, I would throw
Dude,
down on immediately.
that motherfucker's gonna outlive all of us. Watch.
Yes.
So is Jerry. I'm
He's
very.
like, he's like one of those Japanese dudes that lives until he was like 125.
If I make it to January, we're
Like a
good
Buddhist?
because the way in which I live my life, I thought I might have joined the 27 club. I turned 28 in January, so as long as I make it to January, baby, we are living a long life.
Surprised to still be here myself, so I hear you.
Yeah.
So, well, what do you think about the whole? So you said Ozzie
yeah.
Guillen for manager, right?
He's not my choice, but it's gonna.
It would be on brand, right? It would be absolutely on brand for the White Sox, right?
Just realistically, yeah.
I hope. See, the one thing I hope though, okay, and I'm being totally serious. That's sorry, I was just laughing at that. It is an InfoWars podcast.
Go get your tinfoil hat.
They are putting
Yes,
chemicals
please.
in the water to make the frogs gay. Okay.
Don't eat your neighbors.
Yeah, I'll eat your ass. I just kept on saying that to people.
Neighbor's ass.
I'll eat
That's
your
right.
ass. I hope that they hire the Guillen's kids to be the first base, third base coach, bench coach, and analytics director. Like I really do. I really would like to see them in some coaching jobs if they hire Ozzie.
I feel like with Guillen that if they do hire him, it's because they can control him a bit. He doesn't have any options. It's not like the Twins are kicking his door in asking him if he wants a job. I gotta hope at least that they tell him two things: keep your fucking kids out of the news, and make sure to listen to the analytics people, the two analytics people we have.
Yeah, geez, please expand the analytics department. I saw the Cubs did that just recently, right? They just hired a new guy for their analytics department. I don't know if that was like they cut somebody and then added a new guy, but they hired somebody brand new. Yeah, the White Sox need to expand their analytics department. That's something that I've bitched about constantly. Yes, the Guillens are like the bane of my existence, and not just not Ozzie, but particularly the kids.
Ugh.
Apparently, they're all just sacks of shit. And
yeah, of course
I guess
they are.
didn't our guy recovering prof play baseball against Oni?
Yeah, I think so.
And he was
so.
just awful. Yeah, maybe he does, Billy, by the way, in the comments. But all that being said, I gotta ask you, Brian, because you've seen more White Sox baseball, and I'm not trying to age you too much. You've seen more White Sox baseball in your lifetime than Carrie and I.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Tell us about how you became a White Sox fan and why you're still tied into this bullshit to this day.
Starting, my mom was a huge White Sox fan. My dad was always the guy that liked both teams. And then my two siblings liked the Cubs, and I don't know. And for some reason, I just never liked the Cubs, and I was a horrible mama's boy. So, yeah, I mean, my mom was like a huge Harold Baines nerd, loved Carlton Fisk. So I started watching pretty early with that, and then when I got to high school, I was more of a Bulls fan in my teenage years, but then when I got to high school,
because of Jordan probably and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're born in the early 80s, and then all you see is Bulls championship after Bulls championship, while everybody else is fucking terrible. So
hell yeah.
So yeah, and then when I got into high school, and you guys know my buddy Kevin, K Thompson on Twitter.
Yeah.
Him and I just started going to games in high school. He was the biggest Sox fan I've ever met up until that point, and we just started going, and I got more and more into it over the years. So
pretty sucked in, and now you're stuck forever.
And I'm a loyal guy, so I'm gonna stick with my team.
Oh yeah.
I watched every Bulls game during fucking Dickie Simpkins era, so
that asshole lived on my street growing up.
No shit,
and he was an asshole.
Oh,
I saw him at Culver's once because I'm fat, and he was ordering food, and like I was in front of him, and he was just such a dick to the workers. It was ridiculous.
It's funny.
Yeah.
That checks out, especially when you live in Buffalo Grove. You just think you're better than everybody else anyway, and then on top of that, you're a professional athlete. So, but Brian, I gotta ask here. Last season was terrible.
Mhm.
So run me through at least one or a couple of your favorite memories from the 2022 season, just so that we can stay on an optimistic
And
note here.
They don't have to all be about like how you sat with me at the games. So
In terms of the team on the field, Dylan Cease.
Hell yes.
yeah,
Dylan,
Dylan.
and Dylan.
I'm so glad you referenced Dave Chappelle. Thank you.
There's nothing else to be positive about, honestly. I mean, towards the tail end of the year, the other, Lynn started looking better, and there's some promising stuff for next year. Oh, what the fuck? Did you guys hear that?
Nope, I didn't.
Okay.
What's going on?
I just want to make sure. New computer, just making sure you guys aren't hearing the weird bullshit that pops up. So yeah, I mean, I think the pitching is promising for next year. I think, but and then just in terms of at the park, shenanigans. I'll give one for each of you.
Fantastic.
Steve screaming and yelling about Chili's, taking his shirt off.
That was
the best night of the season.
It was my
that was
my
great
drunkest night of the season.
That was
easily.
the Luke, don't you hate Chili's night?
And that's when Brian, that's when Zach, our buddy Zach,
Yeah.
Nitskin met Steve and texted me the next day. He goes, "What the fuck is wrong with that guy?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, that's him."
Yeah.
No, 100%. I did not drive that evening, by the way.
The day I met you last year in that day game that you and I were talking about earlier, you got pretty inebriated that day, and Moncada got hurt, and you're running up and down the stairs just screaming, "What the fuck is wrong with John Moncada?" That was the game where Vaughn played third base for like 4 innings. That was bonkers.
Yep. 100%. I'm remembering pieces.
My carry moment of the year involved 2 young ladies of White Sox Twitter and Carrie's dad. I'm not going to expand too much, but they started to talk. The 2 young ladies I was
about
sitting
dicks.
with, they started to talk about
penis girth.
They used the word girth many times in the conversation, and as the conversation progressed, Carrie's dad's sitting right in front of me, and I'm just laughing my ass off, and he looks like he wants to just fucking run out of there with his head on fire, you know?
He was dying laughing.
Yeah, it was the funniest thing ever.
Fantastic.
I walk home with him. He was like, "Were they talking about dicks the whole time?" And I said, "Dad, yes, they were talking about dicks and girth." And he's like, "Okay, I'm just making sure." He's like, "Because I'm trying to watch, Eloy get a hit, and I'm hearing, girth is not as bad as legs." And I'm just like, "Yeah,
Dad, can we not fucking talk about this?
Can we not fucking talk about this? Please? Yeah, let's go." Yeah.
See, that's the best part about all of this, is that even though our team fucking underperformed, we could still
they were
have
500, Steve.
Oh, that is still underperforming. We could still have a fun time at the ballpark.
Absolutely, always.
Brian, you're
especially without Billy.
Yes.
Yeah, as long as Billy and Senior Sox aren't there, it's a good time.
Well, Senior never goes.
A Senior exists?
I have I think he's got like a warrant out at the Sox game or something like that, so he can't go.
Is he like a Russian catfish bot?
Yes.
He very well might be. That was also fantastic, Jordan. I'm glad that you brought that up in the chat. I'll keep that up. Now, here's the question I've got, Brian, for you. White Sox Twitter, you're fairly, over the last couple years, right? You've started to build up yourself on White Sox Twitter, right?
A little bit.
Yeah. Tourney last year.
Yeah, you were in the tourney last year.
I got a fucking perm for the tourney. Come on.
I know. Facts, baby. If you could describe White Sox Twitter in 5 words or less, what would it be and why?
Unadulterated chaos that I love.
Yep. That checks out.
There's so many characters that I don't even know any. Like, there's games that I was going to last year that these people just randomly walk up to me and just start, talking to me like they've known me for 10 years. I never met them before in my life. And I'm like, Okay, like I'm trying to figure out who the fuck is this guy.
Yeah. Are you looking at the comments? It's too much. It's too much. I'm about to turn it off. This is why for the non-live listeners, you need to start tuning in live on YouTube or even on Twitter if you're too lazy to download the YouTube app.
Sorry, I had to mute. I had to mute because I was actually crying.
Jeez.
You're fucking stupid, senor.
Yes,
That's
unadulterated.
one of the best comments ever.
Senior
God.
Sox Lague or whatever that guy's name was.
Oh, jeez.
I was
It's
at the
just-
game. I was at the game like 3 days before that one.
Were you? Wow.
Yeah.
It was like what year? 2001?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
2000, maybe 2002. I'm barely out of diapers at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if I was even legally able to drink at that point, but yeah, I was. Yeah. That was a dark day, man. That was a dark week because something else happened where they ran on the field and the umpire kicked their ass. I don't.
Jeez.
The umpire. Somebody ran on the field and ran towards the umpire. It turned out he was like a fucking Navy SEAL or something, and he flipped the dude on his ass.
Huck? Was it Huck?
Yeah, it was Huck.
We
Thank you
should
for your,
thank-
thank you
we
for your
should-
service.
Thank you for your service.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you for doing that. I appreciate a good Huck shout out to thank him for his service.
Oh.
Holy cow. Well, we're 17 minutes into this thing and we haven't talked one lick about the product that the White Sox are going to put onto the field yet for next year. So, Brian, you decided to be part of the crowd and post your what do they call these things?
Off-season plan project.
Off-season plan project through the Sox Machine website, blog, podcast, everything they do. Now, your off-season plan and project here involves a few trades that I wanted to ask you about.
Before I start with that, I want to point one thing out. When
Yes.
I wrote that, my whole idea was just going into that thinking they're not going to spend a fucking dollar. And I still don't think they're going to spend a dollar. Their payroll got up to what, 205, right? Something like that. 195, 205. I don't think they're going to be anywhere near that this next season. So that's why they have tough decisions to make and guys to move.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I think they're going to spend money, but yeah, we'll see.
I hope so. And
I wouldn't be surprised.
And let's look at it this way. If you look at my plan, it takes the payroll down to like, I think it was like when I calculated, I was like 158 or something like that.
That's wild.
That'd give them money. That'd give them money to go get Trey Turner or Judge or Correa or whatever the fuck they want. I know you're laughing. It's obviously not going to happen, but
yeah,
you know,
Right.
the last two times they exceeded their spending. What years were that?
probably what? When
2008, 2011, something like that. The next year after they totally shit the bed, they dropped payroll.
Yeah,
For sure. I mean, I think they did that. Think about 05 to 06 and then think about 06 to 07. Right?
And then I'm pretty sure after they got like Samardzija, Melky, Robertson, remember they like touted how much money they spent the next year they weren't good.
No, they
Next
sucked.
year they salary dumped too. So
Yeah, when they had Rios and all those guys too, it happened again. So
Yep. So oh wow. So
no,
let's talk about these few trades that you
Sure.
you put in here, Brian, into this blog post. So your first trade involves someone who I at a moment wanted to trade last year and then immediately redacted. Andrew Vaughn, Yoelqui Cespedes, and Lucas Giolito are your three White Sox pieces that you want to move for Jesus Luzardo and Jesus Sanchez. So walk me through this one. Walk me through this one.
You love it, Carrie. I like Luzardo a lot. I think his arm is bonkers, and I think putting him with Katz, he's going to be another ace for that rotation.
He's got good stuff, but he's got control issues.
Did you
too,
see his
so-
numbers the last half of the season? He was pretty fantastic.
All right. So why? Let me ask you this: why do you want to trade an MLB ready bat and a guy who, the question mark is out on Giolito, right? I mean, it's not necessarily
Giolito's a salary dump in that trade to me. So
okay. So
Sanchez is a lefty bat. He's basically Colas. It's like having two Colas to me.
I mean, let me talk about this right now. Is Lucas Giolito right now in your current rotation is a 4? Lucas Giolito is a nice 4, is he not?
If he's on.
Yeah. Yeah. I what was it? His ERA was what? Close to 5, right?
It was.
Okay.
But it was a terrible year, right?
Yeah. If their defense improves, it might be a little better. I don't have any. He's got his hand-picked pitching coach with him, and he still couldn't fucking get better.
Fair enough.
He needs a change of scenery, and so do we.
So let me ask you a question about this trade. Okay.
Are you gonna bring up Mike Rodolfo?
That was a good one. When that was good. That's like the first time we started really going at it.
Yep.
You don't think that a trade like that could gather, like, instead of Luzardo and Jesus Sanchez, who, to me, I think you could get more for that package. I really do. I think Vaughn's value with him being in pre-arb years, with Yoelki, I mean, still kind of like a, he's going to be a world beater, and then Lucas, who's still like got. Everybody thinks he's got like no value. I think he still got some value. I mean, like, he still, last year his underlying numbers weren't that bad. They weren't. So I don't know. I just think you can get more for that package.
I'm going to ask you guys one thing. We're coming off having 3 legendary superstar first basemen for this organization over the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Correct. What has that done for us?
One World Series.
Spending a dickload of money on a first baseman is stupid. And I'm not saying Vaughn. I understand your point with Vaughn. I also think a first baseman is really easy to get. So if my idea was to have Sheets play first, teach Berger first, I don't think that's going to happen, but you could try. And those two together, Sheets hitting righties, Berger hitting lefties, that's an all-star bat right there.
I agree, but also disagree with you. I think first base production is a dime a dozen, and that's why I advocated for trading Vaughn last year.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't think you can get that out of Sheets and Berger. I think you could get that out of Anthony Rizzo.
They're not going to give him $20 million.
I mean, I don't know if he's a $20 million player either, but
we got McDonald's at home. We got Sheets at home. Come on.
I mean,
let's be honest.
It's comparing like
true.
McDonald's to Oshaval at this point. I mean, like,
when you look at Vaughn and you see Vaughn, I love Vaughn. It's about tradable assets, and they don't have too many. It's about getting value out of those guys, and it's a first baseman. Again, we have a first baseman at home, and I want to keep him. I feel like Vaughn. If you take Vaughn and you've got a guy who never even played in the fucking minors, you got a guy who's never dealt with anyone in terms of figuring out his approach. But Frank Menachino, I agree. If you put him with a hitting coach that knows what the hell he's doing, I got a fly flying around me.
That happens when you get old, Steve, by the way.
Right. I'm starting to decay. You put Vaughn with a guy, a hitting coach that can update his approach and teach him some shit. He could become great. Is that going to happen here? I don't know.
Okay. Well, you know what? I see what you're saying, and I like your approach, because I would trade that package of players.
You just don't like the return.
I just don't like the return as much.
What would you recommend? Like, what do you think that's worth, though? That's the thing, is I don't think Vaughn...
Take out Jesus Sanchez and throw in, and might be asking too much, but why aren't you throwing Jess Chisholm?
They're not doing that.
They're not going to do that. Yeah.
I think you trade with a team like Arizona, right? Who's kind of
I don't think
He wants Zach Gallen.
I want Zach Gallen, and I really like a guy like Zach Gallen, and then you can immediately make your fucking roster. I mean, your
I can
pitching
see
staff
that.
great. Like instead of getting two players, just get one dominant starter that they need.
So then let's
you have-
expand. Let's expand it a little further. Let's throw more pieces into it and get Gallen and Ketel Marte to play second base.
I would love that, but then you're throwing in.
Have you seen that guy's contract? I don't think you would need to throw in that much. His contract is bad.
Yeah, and he's really just like kind of an above average player.
Yeah.
He got his contract after he hit like 30 home runs that one year or something like that, which he never is going to repeat.
Switch hitter has had some health problems. But
yeah,
but he can play
I would
like
take
9
that.
positions.
I would take that contract solely because he is a switch hitter and he gets on base. He does get on base, I'm pretty sure. And he can play like second. He can play outfield. He can play pretty much everywhere. So
Senior sucks. We're not talking about Damaso Marte. So just
Steve doesn't know who that is.
I just want to.
Oh yes, I do, baby.
I know, I'm joking.
2005.
But yeah, so let's get on to your next one though, because I'm looking at this one too, and I'm like, I think we can get another better return on it. So so your next one was Colson Montgomery, Garrett Crochet, Brian Ramos, and Nergy Vera.
Norge Vera.
It's
Norge.
I'm gonna say Nergy.
I always say nerd.
I say Nergy.
Brian did spell it.
Nerge.
I will say this. Brian
Nerge.
he did spell it wrong.
Yeah, and then you
Sorry,
got
Brian. You did spell it wrong. It's Norge. It's Norge. Norge Vera.
Sox
And that was
needs
for
a better
Brian
fact
Reynolds.
checker. God damn it. Brian Reynolds. Brian Reynolds. Brian Reynolds was a switch hitting outfielder. He adds everything. He's as close to a 5-tool guy as you're going to find. He's locked up for 3 or 4 more years. I don't see a problem with that whatsoever. That guy is a 4 to 6 WAR guy.
He'd be a great addition. However, do you not see Crochet being a part of the starting mix and a part of your rotation this year? Do you not see the White Sox utilizing him and him being in a significant push this year?
No, he's in AAA if they're going to push him as a starter. He's going to start the year in AAA.
I'm okay with that.
I don't know if he'll get up. I don't know if it'll happen. I don't know if he'll get it up. You know what I'm saying?
I know about getting it up.
I think he's a better reliever, and I think that he's a guy that's not going to be motivated as a reliever.
So,
but do you see him? Yeah, go ahead, Kerry.
I think you have to look at who the White Sox are as a whole, okay? And you have to look at how they've treated guys like a Garrett Crochet who are coming off Tommy John. They've never made them a starter right away. Look at Michael Kopech for a perfect example.
I agree.
They were like, no, he's not going to be a starter.
But if we're going to put him in the pen, we're already swimming with lefty talent with Bummer and Diekman. Let's just fucking roll, man.
I hate you. I hate you. I think Garrett Crochet is going to start the year in AAA. I agree with that statement. I don't think he's going to be stretched as a starter.
It's another reason why in my plan I added 2 starting pitchers.
Yeah, I mean Luzardo is that lefty, right?
Yeah.
That the rotation needs.
Yep.
So I'll give you that because
I've always liked Brian Reynolds. I feel like let's take an example and look at Elvis Andrus from last year. He was shit all season. Came to a team that's at least a little motivated and a little in it at that point.
He was better.
And he played a lot better. I think Brian Reynolds can be a superstar if he got someone hitting behind him like Eloy Jimenez, and let's go.
So you're just adding lefties. I like it, but I will say, Colson Montgomery is the real fucking deal.
He is the real fucking deal, and I'll be honest,
Colson
Montgomery himself is worth
Brian Reynolds.
Reynolds. So no, I think he is. I think straight up.
I don't think he has that. I don't think he has that value yet.
Oh,
but I also agree with you guys that he's going to be fucking fantastic.
He's ascending. He's ascending. He went from
he's
99 to 30 something. Yeah, he's like a Corey Seager type.
He is. I agree.
The Sox, knowing Rick Hahn and how he does not like to get rid of prospects now like that, he is not getting rid of that's an untouchable. In my mind, I think Colson Montgomery is an untouchable right now for the White Sox.
Yeah, unless it brings you in superstar talent. Yeah.
And I don't mind that. I'm just trying to get good talent in the outfield, and those are the pieces that are there. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I like
And if you
where your
wanna-
head's at.
And if you want to talk about outfield pieces, and we were just shitting on this guy a few minutes ago with Senor and his comments, but Colas, man,
yeah.
the way he was hitting this year in
I
Double
would
and
try
Triple A, I mean, to be honest with you, I know people are like, no, he's not MLB ready yet, whatever. They said the same.
25.
We said the same thing about Andrew Vaughn too, right? Being
Yeah.
so young and only seeing single A pitching, and he came up and he did fine, right?
Yeah, but Colas has been around a lot longer than Vaughn has. I mean,
he has. He's seen a lot more. So
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I want to see the White Sox have Oscar Colas on their 26-man roster to start the year.
He's on mine. I put him on. I kind of had the idea him and Sanchez. Excuse me.
Manning the outfield with Robert.
Well, him and Sanchez fight. Yeah. And Reynolds.
I mean, you can't have too many. You can't have too many outfielders
and too many left-handed bats either on
Especially
this
with how
team.
Yes.
how often everybody gets hurt.
Mm-hmm. And then
I did not realize that Colson had that many errors at shortstop this year.
You could
He's
fix
also
that.
young.
Look at Tim Anderson.
Yeah.
I mean, Tim
Right.
Anderson's not that good of a fielder either, but like your bat outweighs your errors. I'm sorry.
I mean, if you're going to
that's
rake
just
like that,
MLB.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and the White Sox have a gap at second base, and I'm not saying
play
that's
second,
this year, but
short. Yeah,
I would
being this
actually,
year.
I would actually argue that it's more likely that Montgomery plays third base, and then
his frame
and then
athleticism.
and then Moncada goes to that farm to live the rest of his days. You know.
If maybe, man. I fucking love Yohan, but geez, man, I need him to figure it out. You had one more trade proposition in your blog, Brian, and that
one killed me.
Liam Hendricks for Ryan Peepo. I think that's how you pronounce it. Peepo.
Pepuit? I don't know.
Peepois. Pepwit. Yeah, 17 different pronunciations here. What do you see in him that you can't in Ryan Peepo?
I think
you can't get in the rest of the market.
I think he could be Dylan Cease. He's got a 95, 98 fastball, and they said he's got the best changeup in the minors, the best changeup that you're gonna find.
Okay,
put those two together, and
is that Lucas Giolito?
But I was gonna say he's a 2-pitch pitcher. He's gonna run into the same issues as Giolito, right?
I think he had another pitch that was graded either 55 or 60. I can't remember if it was a slider.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is trading for I think he's 24 now, right? Is trading for a 24-year-old and getting rid of your best reliever? I'm going to still say that he's the best reliever on this ball club. Liam Hendricks. Right?
Yeah, but you don't spend money on relievers.
You don't. You shouldn't.
That's my opinion. Yeah.
I agree. You shouldn't spend this kind of money on relievers, but you've got it there already, and he has been still one of the best relievers in baseball over the past 3-4 years. Are you going to get rid of? Is that rebuild mentality? Is that's what I get from it?
I think that Lopez was better than Hendricks this year. I don't know if he's going to be better as a closer, but
I was going to say not in high leverage situations, probably, right?
Well, he was their eighth inning guy towards the end of the year.
I think Lopez only let up like one home run the whole year.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Yeah,
Pepio.
I don't want him as
Pepio.
a closer.
That's right. It is Pepio. I forgot. Sorry.
Marinara.
Now, what is
I blame it on the.
What's Hendricks' contract? I think he signed this year. Then the year after he has an option.
Option. I think if he gets traded, it is picked up. So.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't see. I have trouble trading a guy like that and not waiting until mid-season, right? Trying to get him when he's at his highest value.
Mid-season's when you go pick up relievers. You're correct.
So, like, if the Sox are out of it by then, or if they're just playing the same fucking shitty ball they were playing all year this year,
yep.
At that point, you're like, okay, he's got, half a year and an option year. He's still got a lot of value. At that point, you just go, okay, this team's pretty much done. It's it. This was the last ride. Mm-hmm. Get what you can for him. But
I mean, think about what the Braves did in 21 too, though. I mean, they didn't necessarily go out and splash on relief.
That's what everybody wanted Rick Hahn to do this year,
exactly.
and they didn't do.
They pieced up. That's what I wanted them to do this year too.
How many outfielders did the Braves go get? Or
they got like
Soler,
Rosario, Soler. There's one more.
Duvall, Jock,
and Duvall. Yeah, Adam Duvall, and they all like did very well. So it was just very ironic because they lost Acuna. So
Yep.
now this year they had Acuna and they didn't win. Very funny.
Right. But they had an excellent regular season, right? At least they put
Yeah.
themselves in a position to try and make that long playoff
Something
push.
Rick Hahn's allergic to.
But
And-
now they're going to sign DeGrom, so we're all fucked.
Yep.
That would be-
I don't know.
I've
We'll have
heard
to wait
multiple places say that like DeGrom to Atlanta is like done already.
and see. That's wow. Stay in the division. That's incredible.
The big
Yeah.
Dansby Swanson money goes to DeGrom.
I guess. I mean,
the
where's
Sox pick him up and trade TA?
Let me ask this question too, as we kind of wrap this thing up, because we try to do within a half hour, but we got a special guest, so we can keep it on a little bit longer here.
My mom says I'm special.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
you definitely are.
You are.
But we can go past curfew for you, Brian. Where are the White Sox going to spend Abreu money? So they're walking away from Jose Abreu. Every report so far is saying it, right? And everybody feels like that's kind of the vibe of the White Sox right now.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the Abreu money going to be spent?
Nowhere.
On Moncada and Eloy's contracts that are
Yeah.
getting higher.
That's exactly right.
Right.
The rate.
No, give us your honest answer.
Are you guys just like fictionally giving me $15, $18 million to spend next season?
Yeah, let's call it $18 million for
Yeah.
a contract. 18 mil per year
Yeah,
average.
his exact contract. Where is that going?
I just mentioned Dansby Swanson a minute ago.
You want Dansby Swanson?
Play second base.
Well, at that point, you're moving Tim. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, that's fine too. Or you just say, hey Timmy, let's move over to second base.
Where have the majority of the White Sox problems been over the past couple years?
Outfield.
Outfield. So why are you not going out and signing a young outfielder that can play plus defense
Nimmo.
and get on base
Nimmo.
like a guy?
Do you know how much money Brandon Nimmo's going to get?
He's going to command 20-ish mil a year.
He's going to get 120 large.
120 large over how many years? 7?
Probably 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still doing it.
Do you think Jerry Reinsdorf
Throw it, baby.
You're gonna
Throw
make
it.
Brandon Nimmo the biggest signing in the history of the team?
Here's the thing.
You have to
Knowing
take into
Brandon
account that Jerry Reinsdorf also is about to be making billions off this team in about a year or two when he sells the team.
In addition to that, you have to think about probably where Jerry stands politically and where Brandon Nimmo stands politically, and they probably align.
And we're same with Steve.
Well,
so
Not
but-
true.
well then, fuck it. Let's just do my plan to the T, and then we'll sign fucking Judge.
Hey, I'll tell you what. This is. I love your plan here. I don't. Man, if Jerry wants to spend the money, if Jerry spends the money ever on one player, listen to this, Carrie. If the White Sox ever spend that money with Jerry as the owner on one player, it's going to be Aaron Judge, because Aaron Judge, quote unquote, plays the game right.
He's also
Okay.
he's also marketable as hell. He's fucking 9 feet tall, and he
let me tell you something.
He's
You know,
not
let me tell you
flashy.
something.
He's a
Hold on,
behemoth.
hold on.
He's a badass.
I will put this and
Plays
it's on
the
the air.
field.
It's being recorded. If the White Sox sign Aaron Judge, I will do the whole podcast with you. We'll bring Brian back on. I will do the whole podcast shirtless. Titties out.
I'll do that right now.
Count me in.
I mean,
Count
Like-
me in.
Like,
I'll go shirtless too. We can
there's
all go
just-
shirtless.
there's
How about
no
that?
Fucking way it's happening. There's
No, of course
No,
not.
I
Of
don't
course
think
not.
so either.
You guys asked me to fictionally spend some money. That's what I'm doing. But
There you go.
I still
How-
truly believe they're just gonna play real cheap this year.
Yeah. How about that? We can hold each other accountable. You guys can let all the glory out. I can let the caveman, the carpet out on my chest too.
I'm not scared.
And
I
we can all get shirtless.
that treadmill over there. I take my shirt off, go on that treadmill every day. So
That's beautiful.
not worry about it.
I want a recording of that immediately.
Go
Please
on
and thank
go on
you.
my Twitter page. There's like 6 of them.
Fantastic. And yes, tits out for Judge. How about that? That's the new hashtag of this
I like that.
I'm
podcast.
in.
I like that.
I'm
Tit-
in.
Tits out for Judge. All right, Brian, thank you so much for joining us. I am so glad that you were able to do this. I am so glad that you support us. And another reason why we do this is on the regular, you are with us in the comment section.
Yep.
And you support us. So thank you so much for your support. And thank you for giving us things to marinate in our heads, as we're just spewing.
I guarantee you, Carrie will wear a Brian Reynolds jersey to opening day.
I would love that, honestly.
I'll
buy it for you.
I'll do it. I would not mind Brian Reynolds on the White Sox at all. Just how they get him, So
me either. You know what? I'll tell you what. Shirtless, but we all get back together. If they sign Aaron Judge, shirtless podcast, and if they sign Brian Reynolds, I will go to Grandstand. I will buy a jersey. Period.
I love you too, Senior Sox.
So, Brian, thank you so much again. A joy, a pleasure as always. Make sure Carrie doesn't do any stupid shit as you're sitting by him this year. Okay, in the seats. Oh, if he renews his ticket.
If I'm back, we'll see.
All right,
no, Brian, it was great to have you. Make sure you all follow him on Twitter. His handle is right there, right here on the front of this page here.
That's right. So, and before we go out, Brian, make sure that you tell us a little about your new project that's going to be coming.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, got a podcast coming through the Tainted Glove Network. It's going to be called "It's Getting Drafty in Here," and we're going to do drafts of just random nonsense. So I'm going to pick a topic. I'm going to have like 2 or 3 people on, and we're just going to draft, and chaos will ensue.
Hell yeah! And I know you've given us an informal invite. If you want to continue to extend that informal invite, we'd be happy to join. If you've totally changed your mind after this episode, we would not blame you at all either. So
okay. Well, you're welcome anytime, Steve.
Steve would dodge a real draft, by the way. So
you know what? What can I say? I'm like Muhammad Ali. Whoa, whoa. All right. Have a good night, everybody. We appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you to our live commenters who had me almost rolling on the floor laughing this episode. So really appreciate you all.
Yep.
Have a good night. Make sure you subscribe, rate to us, review. We appreciate it all. See y'all later.
Go Sox.
Go Sox.